Hello there, everybody! I'm Mr. GamePie, and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Riders part... let's see here, what part is this now? I think it's part 11, actually. Last time, we went through most of the, most of the regular tracks of the game, and today we're going to be going through the last couple, regular tracks. Like, we've got this one, which is the last one in the Hero Grand Prix, and then we've got Babylon Garden, which is the last regular story track. Now that trick right there that I messed up, I think that actually gave me the silver rank, because you have to do pretty perfectly on this particular trick challenge to actually get the gold rank on it. Also note, those slopes on that section back there are not actually ramps, they're actually drop-offs, so to get the jump off of them, you have to charge up your jump to do it. Also, I didn't mention this yet, but whenever going off of drop-offs, doing the left or right tricks that spin you side to side, those will actually make you move side to side, which is a really annoying mechanic, actually, because there are a lot of times where I just want to do a trick to get a better rank. But no, I have to move to the side to do that. Or, I want to move further to the side, but if I do that, I'll end up doing another trick, but I don't have enough time to complete the trick before landing, and that'll end up messing it up, and then it'll get a C rank, and that's basically useless. So, yeah, tricks off of the drop-offs, not a whole lot of fun. Another thing that isn't a whole lot of fun is this particular mission right here. You see, there is one grind rail in particular that is very difficult to get onto. And to get one of the junks, you have to get onto that grind rail, of course. Also, this pillar doesn't fall, which I was expecting it to, but then I realized, oh wait, there's a junk right there. It wouldn't fall if you had to get that junk, so yeah. Alright, so we go onto this grind rail, and we go onto this grind rail, and there's that one to the right, and I can never grab that one. It is ridiculously difficult. Of course, I end up having a ton of outtakes to try to get it, but I decided to finish up this run at least before doing all of the retries. Problem is that particular grind rail is right at the end of the track, so if you have difficulties getting that one, you're gonna have to do it over and over again. And of course, it is the black junk that is on that particular ramp. So, here we have our silver rank, but we're not going to sell for that. No, we're going to go for the gold, guys. Alright, so let's see here. This one, I do it too early. We have to do it later than that. Alright, this one, I do it too late. You have to do it earlier than that. And then there's this one. I completely miss, but then end up jumping on it from a completely different section. Seriously, if you just stay on it a little bit longer, it'll put you on the perfect angle to land on the ramp. And I didn't show the rest of the race because you already saw it. That'd be pretty pointless. But yeah, that one grind rail is stupidly hard to obtain. Anyway, it's been a while since we've had this particular type of challenge because most of the race-type challenges where you're just trying to get to the end as fast as possible have been, there's objects in the road and you have to avoid them. It hasn't been since Splash Canyon that we've had a chance to use Knuckles in this thing, where you use the objects to, go faster. Also notably, after the first big ramp, whenever you do the big drop, that particular ramp is kind of glitched out. If you come at that ramp from certain angles, even if you have the best jump possible, even if you do a front flip to go as far as possible, it will drop you down the pit. You will miss the landing, and it will drop you down the pit, and I've had it multiple times in a row, and that completely destroyed my chances at the race, because otherwise I was doing really great at the race. But no, then that glitch just happened several times, and it's dead. I know that at some point here, we're actually going to be able to show it off. Yeah, it's right here. This is it. Watch this. So, I have a pretty standard startup. Go through the power area, of course. And, I'm coming at this area pretty straight on. I get a really good jump, get a really good trick, and it kills me. It kills me. It's just... That's dumb. That is terrible. That should have never made it past the game design testing, people. Anyway, here we have a better challenge. It's not exactly a great challenge, but I mean, it's better. Out of all the flight ring challenges, I feel like this one isn't really that interesting, but I mean, you know, it's whatever, because there's just not a whole lot of places for the flight rings to really be that useful in this particular area. Like, we get to fly past this area a lot. You know, there's a big flight ring chain here. Like, you know, normally this is the last flight ring. But then, nope, we got some more. We fly over this pit, and then that's it, because then we have to go down. And then here we have another flight chain, and it's a little bit elongated still. Like, you know, normally that's the last one, but then we have an extra 3 or 4. But just as a whole, there's not a whole lot of this stage that could have been shown off. Like, if there were flight rings all throughout this room, and you fly out the hole at the top, I think that would be way awesome. That would be a way better challenge. But, as it is, that's not the case. Now, I'm pretty sure that if you spin the control stick slowly enough during the bow and arrow segment where it launches you out, you'll actually land outside the Coliseum area and have to fly into it. I know that it's a scripted event in the story mode for the last lap of the race, because that's where the story picks up, where Sonic is flying into the Coliseum and then his board gets exploded. But, yeah, otherwise, I think it is possible to just get that normally. Now, this mission is actually pretty cool. This is the first instance where we're given a special board to do the challenge on. In this case, this is the high booster, and it gives you really fast and elongated boosts, which can help because you have to break 7 objects in a row, and without boosting, that's not really going to happen. They're not close enough together to chain them effectively. Now, the gold, silver, and bronze rank for this particular kind of challenge is based on how fast you actually got the chain effectively. So we've got 3 potential chains here. I got the first one effectively, and I got this one as well just to show it off. And then there was another one in between them. Getting the first chain would give you a gold rank, giving the second one would give you the silver, and then the last one there is basically just a freebie to make sure that you can actually succeed in the mission. Once again, there's no fear of actually missing the treasure itself, because it will always be in the 7th object that you break. So there's no way to miss this one. In general, if it's a treasure mission and you're playing it as Knuckles, there's no way to miss it. And with that, we get the repair manual of the legend, and this is the one that requires 40 black junk. You're not getting that for a long time. As you can see, we only have 7 right now. And this is after having to redo several missions multiple times. So anyway, now it's time to go on to the last story mode track with, Babylon Garden. I don't really like Babylon Garden's missions. In fact, I just don't really like Babylon Garden as a track that much. It's not that fun. Then again, it's supposed to be the last story mission, so I guess it's not supposed to be that fun. Now, the side ramps of this level are where you're going to get a lot of your trick points. So you need to get on each one like multiple times to actually get the gold rank. I didn't do that, and I didn't get the gold rank. So yeah, that's what happened.
Emergency alert. Emergency alert.
But otherwise, I mean, this stage, it just doesn't have a whole lot of places to do tricks. Like, we had the one ramp at the beginning, and then we have one ramp at the very end, and then there's a couple side ramps. There's like 2 side ramps throughout the rest of the course. This one right here. This is one that you really need to get multiple of. I'd actually recommend not taking the grind rail so that you have maximum time to get off of it, because it's actually a pretty big side ramp, but with the angle that you get off the grind rail, you don't have it. You skip a lot of it. So yeah, I could have, if I only gotten 2 more points, I would have gotten the gold rank. Anyway, time to move on to the junk collecting mission, which is also not that interesting. I mean, I guess another thing is that there's just not a whole lot of ability areas in this level. Like, you've got a few grind ramps, you've got 2 flight areas, and I think you got only 1 power area to go through, and it's on the right section in this right here, where flight characters also get to use their character type ability. Yeah, just look at that. That's not modified at all. The flight rings are literally that short. It's not interesting at all.
Emergency alert. Prepare to repel intruder.
And there's this turbulence, you know.
Repeat.
You all know how much I dislike turbulence. No, really, this turbulence isn't actually that bad, because it's required turbulence, so you go on the right path no matter what. Though this thing right here, this is a pretty cool aesthetic that they got going on with the whole, you know, jet airship things. That's pretty cool. But yeah, that flight ring is pretty easy to hit. Nothing like the flight ring in Metal City that goes off the side ramp. And then just get the good charge back flip off of this ramp, and you got your last treasure and everybody's happy. No problem at all. Alright, so the next one, I kind of messed it up in really dumb ways, but it's really a simple challenge. You're playing as Sonic, you've got a lot of those pillars in the middle of the road, go fast. Oh yeah, and I got an unbelievable rank for starting perfectly. This is where the barriers get a little bit more interesting, because they're going to be like all over the place. You're going to have to like fly straight through them, you're going to have to grind while avoiding them, and that gets pretty interesting. Honestly, this is probably one of the better missions on this level, and I feel like that's kind of saying something, because I don't feel like any of these missions where you're just trying to get to the end as fast as possible while avoiding objects are really that interesting. It's just, there's not a whole lot going on there. It's basically just a regular lap with a couple extra obstacles thrown in. That said, this next turn is actually pretty cool. Because if you want to get inside, you've got to avoid all of those pillars. And it can be pretty tough. Alright, but then, like I said, I had some really dumb mistakes. Like, just bump into the pillar, get knocked off the side, boost, and end up just going slightly off the edge. And then there's this. Isn't that just beautiful? And then there's this! Turbulence! Turbulence messes me up no matter what. Just, it bounces me out. Nope. Turbulence, just don't. Just stop. Anyway. Let's see here, what's this mission? Oh yeah, we're playing as Knuckles, and we gotta break the things. I actually don't do very well on this particular mission. It's not hard, I just play like an idiot. Like that right there. There's a lot of them I just end up flying by. I end up getting the bronze rank. It is just sort of, I really didn't care. There are a lot of missions that I'll redo multiple times to get better ranks on, but this one, not so much. Though it is nice to think, you know, most of the racing ones are for, the mission for Storm is put up a bunch of barriers and make sure that nobody can get through. And you get through. And it's like, oh man, they got through all my barriers, what the heck? And I like to think that this mission is actually kind of a follow-up to the previous mission, where, you know, Storm set up a bunch of barriers, Sonic got through them, and now Knuckles is busting them all down. Except, canonically, my Knuckles is terrible at aiming and actually breaking things, because I didn't do well on the robot one either, so, I mean, you know. Clearly, my version of Knuckles here is just terrible at doing his job. Yeah, I was one off of a silver. I did at least show all of the pillars, so, you know. As long as you're not just being ridiculous like I was, it's not really that tough at all. That said, this next one is probably the best mission out of the Babylon Garden missions, and that's, well, I mean, it's just a grind rail mission, but it does introduce one particular awesome moment. So, you know, we got some extra grind rails up here at the beginning. That's nothing new. Although, we immediately go to a regular grind rail. And, you know, we grind around here, sort of skip the loop. That's nice. Skipping the loop is always a good time. This is a pretty cool ramp, because you go all the way around that thing up there.
Emergency alert.
And then we go into the turbulence. This is an area where I feel like they should have had more grind rails, because the turbulence area is pretty vague in what's going on. And, you know, maybe seeing it from the outside while riding on a grind rail would have been pretty cool, but, no. No, they didn't do that. And the really cool grind rail is actually going to come up here in a second, because right up here we actually have an optional grind rail. We could keep riding on this one, but to get the gold rank and the treasure, we have to go onto this one as well. And I just think that's a really cool thing to do right there. Especially since it takes you out to that side of the course that you never actually look at all. It is a good time. Alright, and for our troubles, what treasure do we get? It's the model of the legend. So basically, the first two legendary gear that you can get are the Turbo Star and the Legend. The Turbo Star is not that good, and the Legend requires 40 black treasure. So that's not happening. Anyway, until next time, I'm Mr. Game Pie. See you later.